The 8th Army was a field army of the Soviet Red Army during the Second World War. The 8th Army was formed in October 1939 from the Novgorod Army Operational Group of the Leningrad Military District with the task of providing security of the northwestern borders of the USSR. Winter War. On 30 November 1939 the Soviet Union attacked Finland in the Winter War. The strength of the 8th Army, or overall the Red Army, in the north of Lake Ladoga surprised the Finnish General Staff. The Finns deployed only 2 divisions, and they had a support group of 3 brigades, bringing the total strength to over 30,000 uniforms. The Soviets had a division for almost all roads leading west to the Finnish border. The 8th Army was led by Ivan Kabarov, but on 13 December he was replaced by Grigory Stern. The vice commander of the southern group was Vladimir Kurgimov from December 1939, who later was appointed the vice commander of the 15th Army. The mission was to destroy the Finnish troops in the area of Ladoga Karelia and advance to the area between Sortavala and Joensuu within 10 days. The Soviets had the advantage of a 3-to-1 ratio in men, 5-to-1 in artillery, and also air supremacy. The Finnish troops conducted a pre-planned retreat before the overwhelming opposition. On the 7th of December, in middle of the Ladoga Karelian front, the Finns retreated near the small stream of Kolar. The waterway itself did not offer any protection, but alongside there were ridges up to 10 meters. The Battle of Kolar lasted until the end of war. Up to north the Finns retreated from Iglajava to Tolvijava on the 5th of December, and defeated Soviet attacks by the 139th Rifle Division and 75th Rifle Division in the Battle of Tolvijava on the 12th of December. In the south, 2 Soviet divisions were united on the northern side of the coastal road of Lake Ladoga. As before, these divisions were in a trap as the Finns could make counterattacks from a north to columns flank. The Finns made counterattacks in all fronts but were not successful. However, the Red Army was now facing a position of defense rather than attack. On the 19th of December the Finns temporarily ceased their assaults as the soldiers were exhausted. It was not until the period 6 to the 16th of January 1940 that the Finns made another major offensive, and cut the Soviet division into a smaller group of different-sized motish. Contrary to Finnish expectation, the encircled Soviet divisions did not try to break through to the east, but instead they stayed put and entrenched themselves. The Soviets were expecting auxiliary troops and service shipments support to arrive by the air. However, the Finns repelled all efforts of the Soviet 8th Army to resupply the encircled troops, and they did not get enough supplies from the air. As the Finns lacked the necessary heavy artillery equipment and were short of men, they did not directly attack the motish they had created, but instead focused on eliminating the most dangerous threats early and bide their time. Eastern Front. In 1940 the army became a part of the Baltic Special Military District. For the morning of the 22nd of June 1941, as part of the Northwestern Front, the army joined the heavy fighting with superior forces of the German Wehrmacht on the Shiaulier axis. On 23 to 25 June its 12th Mechanized Corps with the part of the 3rd Mechanized Corps of the 11th Army southwest of Shiaulier executed a counter-blow on the forces of the enemy's Panzer Group 4, as a result of which their advance was delayed by several days. After the 30th of June the 22nd Motor Rifle Division NKVD started operating as part of 10th Rifle Corps. During July-August the troops of the 8th Army conducted persistent defensive actions in the territory of Estonia. On the 14th of July the the army was transferred to the Northern Front, and on the 27th of August to the Leningrad Front. At the beginning of September 1941, the army's troops fought on the neighboring approaches to Leningrad, retaining contact with the forces of the Red Banner Baltic Fleet on the Oranienbaum bridgehead, which played an important role in the siege of Leningrad. At the beginning of November, the army headquarters and some formations and units of the 8th Army were relocated into the eastern sector of the defense of the Leningrad front and to the bridgehead on the Neva River in Moscow-Dubrovki. During November to December, they conducted persistent offensive combat for achieving Leningrad blockade breakthrough. At the end of January 1942, the administration of army crossed on Lake Ladoga to the Volkhov direction. Combined formations and units of the Sinyavinsk Operations Group of 54th Army, which occupied defenses from the south coast of Ladoga Lake to the Kirov Railroad. On the 9th of June, the army was subordinated to the Volkhov Front. In August-September, it acted as a part of the front's assault group for the Sinyavinsk offensive operation. During January 1943, the 8th Army participated in the Leningrad blockade breakthrough, covering the southern flank of the front's assault group. During July-August, it conducted furious fighting in the MGA offensive operation. During January 1944, the army headquarters and its support units were moved between Novgorod and Lake Peipus. After accepting new formations, the army participated in the Novgorod-Luga offensive operation. After regrouping as part of the Leningrad front, the army made several attempts to encircle the German Army Group Narwa in the battle for Narva bridgehead. After the failure to do so, the army took up defensive positions in late March to July. The army participated in the Narva offensive and the Battle of Tannenberg Line, the 25th of July to the 10th of August 1944. During September, in cooperation with the Second Shock Army and the Baltic Fleet, the army conducted the Tallinn offensive, as a result of which mainland Estonia and the capital Tallinn were captured. In October to November, the army together with the Baltic Fleet conducted the Moon-Sund landing operation to capture the West Estonian archipelago. From December 1944, the army carried out coastal defense tasks in Estonia to the end of the war. In September 1945, the army was disbanded by being redesignated HQ Western Siberian Military District in Novosibirsk. Commanding officers: I.N. Kabarov, GM Stern, Major General Sobennikov, Lieutenant General Ivanov, FS Major General Lyubov Zevai, M. The Lieutenant General Sennikov, P.S. Major General Sherbakov, V. I. Lieutenant General T. I. Colonel. Since October 1941. Major General Bondaryev A.L., Major General Sukhumlin A.V., Major General. Since November 1942, Lieutenant General Starikov F.N. Members of the Military Council: Divisional Commissar Shabalov S.I., Divisional Commissar Chaknov I.F., the Brigade Commissar Okorokov A.D., Brigade Commissar. December 1942. Divisional Commissar Sosnovikov V.V., Major General Zubov V.A., Chiefs of Staff: Major General Larionov G.A., Colonel Smirnov V.I., Major General Kokorev P.I., Colonel. June 1944. Major General Golovchina B.M.